Because I knew I had a big party coming up.
I'm staying here with some friends and they've got lots of room. You can sell your paintings on the sidewalk, buy a cafe where I hope to be working soon.
How are you doing today?
Well, I can't. Oh, hey, how you doing today? Pretty good?
Yeah.
She said, hey, rambling boy, why don't you settle down? Boston ain't your kind of town. There ain't no gold and there ain't nobody like me. I'm the number one fan of a man from Tennessee. Please come to Denver when the snow falls. We move up into the mountains so far that we can't be found. Through I love you, it goes down the canyon. Then we'll lie awake at night till they come back around.
Day to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Denton. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Better be quick candles for him. There you go.
Did you man, what am I going to do?
Blow them out.
Oh.
Make a wish.
Many more. We're here on my dad's 80th birthday party. It's a special occasion, have many friends here. And we're looking forward to celebrating his birthday.
Would you like to?
Hey,
Bobby.
Hey, Bobby,
Jason, PawPaw is 80 now.
Would you like to say something nice about your grandpa?
He's cool. Yeah.
Would you, what's the first word that pops into your mind when you think of your PawPaw?
Exciting.
You could pick any animal that he would be. What animal would you pick?
What animal would I be?
No, what animal would he be?
What animal would he be? He would be my favorite faithful dog.
Aw. Okay, and what's your favorite memory with him?
Well, when we were in college, I was cooking breakfast for him one morning because Joe was not up yet. and we were going to make biscuits and bacon and eggs and whatever. And so I put this Pyrex dish on the electric stove to heat it up a little bit. Went to the refrigerator to get the eggs, and the plate exploded. Oh, luckily, it didn't cut either one of us heads off.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you think of one word to describe him?
Sweet. He is just the sweetest person I know. Hands down. And dependable. I can't just limit it to one word.
You know, I know my dad, he was always interested in what I was doing, you know, playing sports or baseball. I just remember at football practice, he would come to every football practice. And, you know, after he, you know, got up early that morning, drove the bus, taught all day, drove the bus that afternoon, and then before he went home, he'd come out and sit on the back of his truck and watch the football. And, you know, it means a lot, you know, that somebody's that much invested in you. you know, he is my biggest fan. I think he went to every sporting event that I've probably ever been involved in. You know, every once in a while he says, you remember that time you hit that home run and Terrell at that Pony Week baseball game and won the game? And I don't even remember that, you know, so but he does. I remember I had to work for several summers and got enough money to buy a truck, and I bought it from, you know, I was trying to do it all on my own, and I bought this, it's like a 1970 Chevrolet truck that's out from this car dealership south of town, and brought it home and was pretty proud of it. Well, it turns out that the guy, it had a compression problem, and it smoked, and after a couple days, it was pretty clear it wasn't running well. I mean, maybe the guy overfilled it with oil or something to get it running, you know, and I told Dad about it, and he says, well, let me see what I can do. And I don't know what he did, I don't know what he told the guy, but he came back with my money and not the truck. So I got to start all over and get something out.
Also at the farm, I remember, you know, having one of the cows from the other pasture. I guess it was our cow in another pasture, and we were trying to get it back. And the bull in the other pasture did not like that, so he started trying to, you know, get after us, and he yelled, "Get in the truck, get in the truck." So I jumped in the truck, and PawPaw Jones and Dad were out there trying to maneuver that cow back, and we finally made it, but that was, you know, permanently a picture in my mind. Oh, another cow story. This was with Uncle Charles, and you know, they're city farmers is what we called them, because the football game was on, the cowboy game. Uncle Charles was in the front, and he was hauling the cows, and Dad was behind him in his car.
Tailgate fell out.
The tailgate opened up, and the cows started falling out on the highway. Dad is trying to go around the car, and Uncle Charles is honking at Uncle Charles, but Uncle Charles had the cowboy game up so loud he couldn't hear anything. So they kind of came back with their tail between their legs that day and had to tell everybody what happened.
But we had a lot of good meat.
Me and Bill, but we were driving the truck one day, and they were throwing all the bales in, and we were cruising along just fine. And actually, one of us would like use our hand to push the gas, and the other one would be driving. We were that young. But anyway, it was a plowed field, and we were cruising along with the rows. So it was a pretty smooth ride, but for some reason we decided we were going to turn, and then it got quite bumpy when you're going the other way against the plowed field, and the truck just started going like this, and I think it was either Denton or my dad flew up off the tailgate and then landed back on the tailgate and then dented the whole tailgate.
I have lots of fond memories, but one of the main ones is, as a child, you always impressed me because I never knew men that could jump like you could. He would stand flat-footed at the grocery store and hop up onto the counter, to the register counter, flat-footed. And everything he did, he was always jumping and playing basketball and teaching us to do neat things and always having a good time. Riding a bicycle backwards, he is phenomenal. If y'all have never seen him, he would get on those handlebars and he'd be, I mean, he could do it all. So we always had a good time, and the other thing is he liked to eat sweets. We could always count on, Mom would always bake, and Uncle Denton would always be in on a good dessert. So
I remember a story. I don't remember how old I was, but we lived in Duncanville and it had iced over. And PawPaw was trying to get me to come in the house. Well, me being little dad cat was, I was running around and like trying for him not to catch me. And I ran around him real fast and he slipped on ice and he busted his head open. And I thought I was going to get in so much trouble, but he didn't care.
BC and I played 54 holes of golf one day. It's hot about like today, and we made it through it. But when we, yeah, let him tell it. Yeah, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
I gotta tell a couple of stories anyway.
He's a storyteller.
It's not a lie, it's a real truth. I'll tell you, when you start talking about hauling hay, I used to wish I could haul hay like he could. I'm telling you, I used to say, yeah, God, he's tough. He can really move that hay. But I'll tell you, we played a lot of golf, and one time we were over at
Cooper.
Spring Lake in Cooper. I mean, Spring Lake in Paris.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And so, you get pulling these little carts, you know, and he gets up there and gets set up, you know, and he takes a shot at it, you know. But it was hot like today. Wet, that driver goes in the air, goes over, and it hits on top of the clubhouse. You can hear it, you know. He goes in there, and then he goes and sits at the desk, and he said, Denton said, "You got a ladder?" And he said, "What do you need a ladder for?" He said, "My driver's on top of the clubhouse." He said, "What's he doing up there?" But anyway, that's just one little funny thing that we had that happened, you know. And then I could go on all day about the golf. But anyway,
then the 54 holes golf we played together.
And you didn't use that. Yeah, we came over here and I could not figure out whose they were. Okay, that's what happened. I was like, whose tees are these?
How many was it, 54 holes?
54.
We played 54 holes one day over there.
But I'd rather just kind of focus on the fact that, you know, in 25 years, it'll be our anniversary here next month, especially coming from New Jersey. The fact that I've never heard him, forget about yelling, he's never raised his voice beyond, you know, which to me says an awful lot about him as a person that he is. And I appreciate that because I've given him plenty of reason to raise his voice. But I just appreciate his demeanor and everything he's done to help me. The one time his personality kind of worked against me, I will tell you this quickly, was when I went and drove up from Dallas. I was living in Dallas to propose. I went and called Joe and Denton to schedule a date to come up and ask him, you know, tell him I had something I needed to ask him. And so I made the drive from Dallas. And of course, I had gotten to know them, you know, through our dating period before, you know, we got engaged. And, you know, he was very low key and mellow and you know, nicest guy in the world. So, of course, I'm nervous as can be. And I drive up there, and they're both sitting there, and they listen to my spiel, and, you know, and thankfully, they both said, yeah, that's, you know, they gave me their blessing. But as I'm driving that hour and a half back to Dallas, I'm thinking to myself, he was too mellow. I mean, by the time I got to Dallas, I'm thinking, and I was starting to worry because, you know, he wasn't overly excited, you know, which is just part of his personality. Right. But anyway, no, that's how consistent a person he is, and I can only wish I was a lot more like that, and I just appreciate it. And I've just never met a guy that's never complained about anything and has always done for other people.
Thank you.
Bill Jones was ill one weekend, And I left him at home with Denton to go to church. And when I got home, everything seemed to be fine. Of course, Denton had taken a nap while I was gone. Then later that night, Bill had been bitten by a dog. I didn't know it till that night when I was giving him a bath. I take him to the doctor the next day, and the doctor says, "Tell me how in the world a child with fever can get out and get bitten by a dog."
3 years old.
Then one time he was supposed to be taking care of Clint, and Clint, I went up to the street to see about Candace and Kristen. They were roller skating. Clint's just 2 years old, if he's that. He slips out of the house while Denton's watching him. And I'm halfway up the street to Kristen, and Kristen says, "Mama, there goes Clint." And Clint is running down the street to the busiest intersection around. Well, I've got twice as far distance to go catch him. And I did catch him, and when I got a hold of him, I just sat down on the curb and cried, just started crying. Well, I carried him on in the house, and Denton's looking at me, "Well, what's wrong with you?" "Are you going to be all right?" "No, I'm going to have a heart attack any minute." Yonder goes Clint.
If y'all know him, y'all know that he smiles a lot and laughs a lot. And I think that's a good quality. And he should have been left-handed. And when he's in first grade, his teachers tied his left hand behind his back, so he would use his right hand. I just know that he helps people. He helps people a lot. And many that we'll never know about. The other night when we went out to eat for his birthday, he was worried about needing to leave a little early so he could go give a guy a ride home that was mowing a yard out of town. He needed to give him a ride back to his house. He enjoys helping people.
California life alone is just too hard to build. Live in a house that looks out over the ocean, and there's some stars that fell from the sky, living upon the hill. Please come to LA, she said. No, will you come home to me? And she said, "Hey, rambling boy, why don't you settle down? LA ain't your